All right, guys, welcome back to the channel. We're getting the Tacoma ready to hit some trails pretty soon, and we're putting on some new mods today. Let me show you guys what we got. So the first thing right here is we got this new bumper, and you also got a winch, but that's inside, so we'll show you guys that later. But let's get to installing this bumper, and we'll test everything out at the end. Hopefully this goes a lot smoother than installing the leaf springs, but let's get it. All right, first step is going to be to take off the grill right here, and we're going to go ahead and take off the license plate too. All right, take your 10 mil socket and get that thing off. All right, we just popped the hood. We got the license plate off. And now we're gonna need to take off this front grille. There's two 10mm bolts right there. There's a couple clips right here that you're gonna wanna pop off. You just pinch these down and pull them apart. And there's another one down there. And then you gotta pop those right there. You just use a flathead screwdriver and get under there and lift it up, and then it should pop out. I think those are the only thing that's holding it down, but we'll see. We got everything unscrewed, everything disconnected, so I think we can just pull it off right now. There's one more little zip tie that's holding it in place. We'll pinch it down. Easy as that. Now we got our bumper off. All right, so the next step is to be getting this off, and I saw a video and I'm pretty sure you can just pull it off, so we're gonna try that. All right, we got this off. We're not gonna need this anymore, so it's all right if it gets a little damaged. And then now for the part that I'm most scared of is the trimming. All right, so on the instructions it says from here to cut 20mm back. So we're gonna put some masking tape on this and then measure it and then get the cut in. Okay, so we marked the bumper up. We did 2 lines. This one is 20mm from the front and this one is 18mm. So we'll probably cut on the 18 one at first. So if we do mess up, we have a little extra bumper to work with. It's better to cut it not enough so you can fix it if you have to. If you cut it too much, it'll be way harder to fix. And before we cut it, we're gonna take off this crash thing. There's just 2 clips right there that you push in and then pull, and same thing on the other side, and it comes out. All right, so there was a couple other clips that you have to push in, but it comes off pretty easy. All right, let's get to cutting it. Right, the bumper is off. Okay, so I tried cutting along the 18mm line as best as I could, and for the most part, I think I did that. But now we need to take off this crash bar right here, and you have 3 14mm bolts in there that you need to take out, and you're gonna need an extension and a deep socket. Got it out. Then also go ahead and take this off. 3 bolts right there. Okay, so now we have to move this backwards, and to do that you have to loosen this bolt and this bolt right there, and then you might also have to come under the wheel here and loosen that bolt. This is the relocation bracket right here. Oh yeah, you take that bracket, put it on like that, and then you put the original screw back into the hole right there. And then it moves this back like an inch or 2. So we moved the AC back, and now we're tightening up the bolt. It's a big thunder. And then we should be good to install the bumper. All right, so we got this pushed back. We got the bumper cut. We're gonna do a little bit of sanding so we can get this all smoothed out. And then after that, I'm gonna line the bumper up to see how I did with the cut, see if I need to cut any more, and measure it out to see if the winch will fit with the bumper. All right, so the bottom of the bumper to this thing right here is 11 inches. The control box with the winch is just under 11 inches. So we are not gonna have to do any control box relocation. And this is the fitment of the bumper before I sand it right now. We're gonna sand off all this stuff and then put the weather tape thing on it, and then it should be good. Little gap right there too, but we can always fill that in with some foam or something if we need to. All right, we got my dad sanding it down. In the meantime, I'm gonna prep the bumper and the winch to be installed. All right, we got the bumper on. The winch is in. Now we got to put bolts in those 3 that we took off earlier for the crash bar thing. Then we should be good. So yeah, basically just gonna tighten the bolts that I took out earlier, and then I'll update you guys when I'm done with that. All right, actually to put on these 2 bolts on the other side, you're gonna want to take this little thing off. I think that's the only pin that's holding it in. Maybe one right here. But we're just gonna pop that with a flathead and then put those in. All right, we got the bumper bolted in. There's a few more screws we have to get in so the bumper's nice and secure on the frame. Did a decent job with the cut. There's a little bit of a gap right here. And then the rubber liner kind of got sucked under this. I might fix that later, but it honestly doesn't really bother me right now. But yeah, we're gonna screw in everything and then get the grill back on. And then I definitely want to test out the winch today, so we're gonna also try that. All right, guys, we got the winch connected to the battery, and the wireless remote is connected to the winch. So let's give it a little test real quick. We're gonna hit out so the line comes out. All right, now to put it back in, you just hit in and then keep some pressure on it. Press that in button and it will reel back in. All right, so we know the winch is working. So we're gonna put the grill back on, and then tomorrow we're gonna install the bull bar, and then we're actually gonna test out the winch. I'll probably just hook onto my dad's truck and try to pull myself up the driveway or something, but we'll see what we do. All right, we got the grill back on. You can see the winch in there. All right, we got the bull bar installed. It was raining on and off, so I got a little wet, but we got the job done. Tomorrow we're gonna put on the license plate. I got a flip license plate so I can flip it up when I wanna use the winch. And then I also got a winch dampener so we can test the winch out tomorrow. All right, we got my dad's truck all rigged up. Got the winch dampener on, we're gonna give it a test. We're gonna see if we can pull him up. He's coming up slowly. Coming up slow. The winch is working good so far. All right, we just got out, made sure everything's running good, make sure the winch is working how it's supposed to, frame still on strong. We're gonna pull him up a little bit more. It's hard to tell, but he's moving up slowly. You can see the bags almost touching my truck. All right, I think that's good enough. Pretty good first test. We pulled about 3 of these squares. First test went well. The license plate cover comes tomorrow, and then after that, we'll be done. All right, guys, we got the license plate on. We can flip it up like that to access the winch. One thing I definitely could have done better with this is cut it better. It's a little bit uneven, but it's kind of hard to tell unless you like really take a look at it. It doesn't really bother me too much. That was my first time cutting the bumper on my truck. I've never done that before in any other car. Of course, it's not going to be perfect for my first time. If you guys are thinking about doing this yourselves, I would totally do it. It's really not that hard. Unless you really want like a clean cut, you might want to hand it off over to like an expert to give you like that perfect cut on your bumper. But if you want to DIY it yourself, it's really not that hard. You just take off the old bumper and then put some screws in for the steel bumper. If you guys have put a lift kit or anything on your car, this is like 50 times easier than that. So yeah, I definitely am DIYing this if you have the time and the tools, but if not, then yeah, you can take it to a shop. But if you want to save some money, go ahead and do it yourself. You'll probably be able to, especially if you have some prior experience working on your car. For me, this was my first time doing anything like this on my car, and it went pretty well. This is what the truck's looking like right now. So far we put on a lift kit, we got off-road tires, we put on a winch, and we put on a steel bumper. So say we have like phase 1 of the build complete. I am going off-roading soon, so I'm gonna really test the capabilities of my truck out and see how it performs. And then based on how it performs, I'll see what else I wanna get. But yeah, thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Let me know what else I should do to my truck, and see you guys next time.